Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back, and welcome back to my channel for another episode of Garage Review. Now, this is like the 20th episode of Garage Review. In fact, I've done quite a bit of Garage Review episodes already, and some people are still wondering how to submit your garage. Well, I just want to let you know there will be a link in the description below. It will send you to a Google form, and there you can submit your garage. Basically, what you want to do is just put in your name, put yourself in line, because the line's pretty long. I've done about 25, 30 garages. Maybe we'll see in the Blossom score how many garages I've actually done. But the line's pretty long, so if you do want to skip the line, there are options for that as well. But with that said, you know, the Google Forms down in the description, you can put your name in there or put you in the line. And then when it comes to your turn, I will contact you on Instagram or Discord asking for an updated garage. So, you know, it's the most current garage, then we will have a really current garage to review. Anyway, we're reviewing two other people today. First on the list is going to be Peter. Right here, as you can see, pretty high trophy count, 39,580, 30 out of 1,000 renowned, so he's getting through those championships. I would assume he's getting through those championships. Good luck if you are. 6,000 cash, 315 gold. Let's get into it. Now, I just want to let you know that this video is a little laggy. It's not going to be from your computer. It's just going to be the guy recording. It's just a little laggy, but it's not too bad. So we are going to start off with the commons. So as you can see, starting off, you know, personally, for me, I don't even collect RQ3s and 4s that much, so I don't even know RQ3s and 4s that well. But some cars that we definitely know that people always want to keep would be the Honda Beat, the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, and maybe that Lotus 7, which is only really good on the slalom, in the rain as well. It does weigh like absolutely nothing though. But yeah, you have all those cars, very nice to see. So moving on, see there was a little bit of a lag over there. We move on and it's straight up at 6. It didn't skip the garage or anything, he just doesn't have a lot of RQ5. So the first thing I want to talk about is, you know, focus on some RQ5 cars if you want to strengthen your common hand a bit. Some cars I would recommend is the Pontiac Tempest Le Mans. I think it hits like 7981 at 969. The TVR 1600 and the Alfa Romeo 2600 SZ. Everybody knows me, know that in Garage Review, if you don't have the Alfa Romeo 2600, I will recommend it. I love that car, I really do. It's the best common for the test bowl, and I mean, come on, I love cars that are the best at what they do in their category, and so should you, because they're the best at what they do in their category. Anyway, RQ6, I would also recommend a Fiat Panda 4x4, just because I see a lot of standard tire, rear wheel drives, and performance tire commons. So if you want to bolster that to kind of open up the variety so you can do off-road and low RQ events, that Fiat Panda might come in handy. Now, as you can see, I'm actually reading this from a mail, you know, like just a mail thing, because I've ran out of paper, and you know, during quarantine, like, where do I even buy paper? My grocery store doesn't sell paper, I think. I never looked for it, but I need more paper because the next one's on the pamphlet. Actually, it's like a medical note from like 2 years ago, which I found in my backpack. So yeah, really running out of paper. Anyway, coming down to uncommons, I would say max out your RQ8 Timar. We've already passed that. And get yourself an RQ8 Opel Kadett. That's a very good medium ground clearance uncommon with 85 handling. Also the Lancia Beta is also really good, and then get more 110 range Land Rover Defenders as well, because you never know, that car might become rare one day, and if you want, you can max it out now when it's an uncommon and sell it as a rare, get yourself a little bit of a profit. Moving on to rare, what I see here is that you have a lot of key rares for championships. So when I mean key rares for championships, I mean, you know, you got the Alfa Romeo Gioletta. Let's see what else you got. The Silhouette might be pretty useful. The Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA Stradale is very, very nice. The Renault Laguna Coupe, Ford Focus, BMW i3S, Opel GT Concept. Actually, I don't even remember using the Opel GT Concept that much in my championships. Lamborghini Yalpa, BBR Turbo, Ford Escort Rally Spec, all very good cars. However, one rare car that I realized that you do not own, very, very surprising, because most players have this, especially since they're almost at 40,000 trophies. You don't own a Lotus Elise 1.6. So either you just didn't want to get one, or you just hate one. It would be pretty interesting if you hated one and you don't have one. You know, respect for you for that, because there are a couple French keepers out there that I don't have just because I don't like. But if you have nothing against the Lotus Elise 1.6, I would recommend it. It actually beats the Mazda BBR in some track sets. So I know you have 2 BBRs, but you know, it's good to have, once again, a variety. Also, one car I like to recommend alongside with the Alfa Romeo 2600 is the Skyline, the Nissan Skyline Hardtop. I really like that car. Just a good all-rounder. It has decent 0 to 60. 84 handling is decent because it's medium ground clearance as well. Performance tires, medium ground clearance. Rare cars are pretty hard to find with decent handling. So not with decent handling, but with decent handling combined with decent 0 to 60. Because obviously the other car that we can all think about is the Volvo that has 90 handling. I think that's medium as well. Anyway, moving on to super rare, I would say all your RQ15s are actually performance tires. So if you want to get some variety in there, get yourself some all-surface tires or some standard tire cards, I would recommend maxing that RQ15 Ram Charger. And also get yourself a Dodge Caliber RT all-wheel drive. It's 4-wheel drive, standard tires, medium ground clearance, also some very decent stats. It used to be RQ16, it went down to 15, but that just basically means it was one of the weakest 16s, now one of the strongest 15s. So I would recommend those if you want to focus on, you know, some off-road, some standards. Also, one other off-roader in the RQ16 range that you don't have is the K5 Blazer. So if you want to get the K5 Blazer, I would definitely recommend that. I have 2 of those maxed out 969. They really help me as well. Also, I would recommend maxing a second Opel GT RQ16, 1969 and 1699. Yes, 699 is super rare because it does beat the 969 in some track sets. I can't remember exactly what. I have a spreadsheet of it, but it's mostly like twisty circuit, you know, things like that. I found that in the recent Titanium event, Vauxhall event. I think it was like the first ever one, which was besides that everybody gets one. But we look at the rest of your super rares here. RQ18s, nothing much to talk about. Good variety. I see all surface. I see off-road, performance, standard. You know, the basics. Everybody knows. Now moving on to ultra rares. There are some pretty interesting ultra rares here. Now overall, your ultra rares, Peter, very good variety. Very good variety. It's small, but there's a good variety within the pool that you have. Some pretty interesting max outs that I do want to talk about. So let's have a look. The first one here is a Nissan Murano from 2002, 6583. Is that good? I don't know if that's good, 6583, but what I can say is that maxed out 6.5, it's still slower than the stock Range Rover P400. It is now given, you know, it does have 83 handling, which is decent, but then again, I've just never seen a maxed out Nissan Murano, and that's a first for me. There is going to be another SUV down here that you max, which really caught me off guard, but I can't really give you, oh yeah, here it is, the Buick Enclave. I've seen so many Buick commercials on Netflix, but I still don't know how to say it. I think it's the Enclave, that's what they call it. 7285. Wasn't the Nissan like 63? I can't remember. My memory is so bad. Maybe 6.5. 72. The Buick's actually slower. Why is it 21? Is it an MRA thing? I mean, it's not like it has top speed anyway. Okay, well, that's interesting. But yeah, the Buick Enclave, very interesting max. I barely see those around. Some very key ultras, though. I see the 968 Turbo, 924 Carrera, 911 Carrera, which is actually not really that key. Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4, that's very key. Let's see, Honda Legend, Honda Civic Type R, 2 RS200s, 2 Ford Escort Rally Specs, CTS Coupe, Citroen Metropolis, and the Auto Delta. So some very, very useful cars in that 030 as well. What I would recommend is probably just like maxing out duplicates of the key ultras that you already have. Obviously, you're lacking a Colorado ZR2, so hopefully you'll get that as well. I think you have a TBR tomorrow. We can have a quick look back and check. Yeah, that's a TBR tomorrow right there. I can see at the edge of my screen, as well as the BTR that you 996. Good man. I would recommend anyone that has the roof BTR to 996, the first one as well. It's really good on the test bowl, just not as good as the Countach. Anyway, some interesting things I want to talk about here. First one is that W12 Volkswagen Roadster. Wow. That's pretty good. Though I know that those W12 Roadsters, you know, don't have MRA. But for an RQ24 to hit 3.00 to 60 and 95 handling, ooh, that's good. Like, I remember when I was looking through your garage, right? And I saw that Roadster, I was just like, this can't be right. That's actually RQ24. I know it's rear-wheel drive, and I know it has bad MRA, but still, 3095. I mean, when you think about it, a Dodge Challenger wide body is 3194. Or 3294. I don't know because I don't own it, but that's very impressive for an RQ24, although it has no MRA, so hopefully it'll be good for the twisty stuff. I don't know how much it weighs. Next one obviously is the Volkswagen CC. Now I'm not a fan of Volkswagens, but I have to commend those statistics. Looks okay as well. 87 handling for standard tires, medium. For RQ24 it's actually pretty decent, so fair play to that. A very good variety though. I don't know why you maxed out that Audi RS6 Plus though. Personally for me, I hate that car. I've gotten it 3 times now. Maybe even 4, and it used to be RQ26 when it was medium. I think it's like low now as well. 3791, not a good car. You probably maxed it out when it was medium, but yeah, I don't like that car. Some very questionable max outs here, but you know, it's nice to see that you actually go out of your way to actually finish maxing out some cars. Like this one's very questionable, right? You max out the Audi S5 Coupe 4193, but you have yet to max out the TVR Griffith, which I'm sure you're almost done with since it's at 2 stars, or the AMG SLS Roadster, which in my opinion are just much more useful cars than the S5 Coupe. So that was pretty interesting to see. 3 maxed out Lotus Supercharge, amazing. We're gonna max out 211 GT4 as well. Just look at that, 30102 price car for an Epic, and the BX4TC Group B 3893 4-wheel drive off-road, very nice. Some very nice cars here. I would obviously say we passed the M3CS, max out the BMW M3CS. Now, moving on to Legendaries. What I have in my notes is I say nice Sesto Elemento. And if you had to max a Legendary in your garage, it will be the 962C in my opinion. Because Bugattis, let's be honest, you could put a fuse into that if you really need to, but like most of the time you're not really gonna need a fuse into your Bugatti, because it's max or nothing when it comes to these things, because so many people just want to max Bugattis. But that's Sesto Elemento, that's very nice, very interesting. You're probably a huge Lamborghini fan, 21102, and the Audi as well, the Audi R8 Coupe. That's a car I've been wanting for a while, just because it has very impressive 0 to 60. That and the Nissan GTR. You know, the Nissan GTR has no MRA, but that 0 to 60 is something I want, especially when it comes to Japanese events. That thing kills. But yeah, 962 would be the one that I would max out the most. Final notes I have for this garage. Wow, I mean, it's quite small for a 40k garage indeed, but I have to say you're very cutthroat with your cars. Like I see a lot of max outs or nothing, not a lot of fuse material lying around, so you probably put fuse materials into cars whenever you can. Very efficient, something I like to see. Anyway, with that said, let's get into a Blossom score. So for the Blossom score here for Peter Lustig, number 25 on the list. Obviously, well, the one before was from the April Fool's special, which Blossom reviewed for me. But Peter Lustig, let's see. The first one is uniqueness. How unique is your garage? I have to say, for a 40k trophy garage, your garage is actually quite small. In terms of variety in the lower ranks, it's actually not very strong. But you know, you do have. You've made do with what you have. It is pretty unique in my opinion, and I'm going to give you a 7. Anyway, moving on to patriotism. Now, once again, you know, I did see a lot of nice British cars, some nice German cars, but also, actually, you know, the Max Volkswagens. Are you a Volkswagen fan? Did I see enough Max Volkswagens to give you a 10? Not really. I'll give you a 7, because I did see a little speck of patriotism, but not a lot. You know, it was there, but it wasn't full blown. In terms of character, you know, it's a small garage, high trophy count, very organized, very nice, but nothing too special in terms of like, you know, that just gives the garage like special character. So for that, I'm going to give it a 5, which gives us a total score of 19, I think. My math is very bad, but I think 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 5 is 19. I think so. Anyway, moving on to the top draft scale. It's not a very big garage. I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to give you, I mean, I would normally give a 7, but knowing that you're at 40k trophies, you're hitting pretty high up now, I will have to give maybe a 6. Moving on to strength, it is a very strong garage for what you have, though, not gonna lie. I'm gonna give you an 8 for that. Moving on to versatility, it's a pretty versatile garage, especially when it comes to the higher ranks. I would say like RQ 17 and above, it's pretty versatile, but then RQ like 17 and below is like not that versatile. So I would say 8 and above is like a 9, but like well, 17 and above is a 9, but 18 and above is a 9, and then 17 and below is probably like a 6, so I'm going to average it out at a 7. Moving on to the lethal level, though, at the end of the day, when it comes to final, you know, tri-series events, it's all about the higher upgrade, the higher rarity cars, and your lethal level cars are pretty good. Once again, you're missing out on some key cars like the ZR2, duplicates of some key cars like the 924 as well, but definitely is a pretty lethal garage. I'm going to give you a 7. Moving on to potential, though, that is 100% a 10, which gives us a final score of 14, 24, 38. I think. 38 plus 19. Calculator. The numbers have gone too big for my head. Honestly, I am not good with math. Leo is laughing at me. Anyway, that gives you a final score of 57. So very, very solid score indeed. Going to change that to black. Anyway, let's move on to our second garage. Guys, and we are back with the second garage. The second garage in question is another fellow Top Drives YouTuber. Top Drives Pack Openings, also known as the Corvette Lover. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, he makes some pretty cool videos. He's been a fan of my channel for a while, and I've known him for a long time as well, for just about a year and a half. So if you guys are interested to check him out, do check out the Corvette Lover, or on YouTube he's called Top Drives Pack Openings. I'll have a link to his channel in the description below. Shout out to him as well. He was a kind of a last minute listing because I actually had someone else that was in line for the second player or the second garage is going to review, but then for some reason the second guy sent me his video in portrait mode. I don't want my viewers to break their necks to watch my videos, so I called up Corvette Lover because I knew that he's always online on Instagram, and I was just like, bro, you free? He's like, I'm free. I was like, all right, I need your garage ASAP because I want to record this video, and he was like, yeah, I got you, bro. So shout out to you, shout out to your channel. I hope you do well in everything that you do. Anyway, Corvette Lover, let's begin. So I would have to say, strong common garage, nothing much to say here. You got more RQ3s and RQ4s than I do, so you know that's saying a lot. Oh, actually not saying a lot because my RQ3 and 4 garage is weak. But you know, you also have the, there you go, the Alfa Romeo 2600 SZ. Love to see it, and it's, you know, all in all a very decent garage. The only car I really recommend you to get is the RQ6 Ford Escort. I think it's like 1600 or something like that. Medium, low 0 to 60 for a common, very impressive car. Anyway, moving on to the uncommons, what I say here is max out your Lancia Beta Monte Carlo, max out your Fiat Schumacher GP, max and collect more Range Rover 110s for the same reasons on why I talked about it in the last garage. Moving on, I would say a lot of key RQ10s. When I look for RQ10s, you know, everybody seems to have the similar cars. That being said, you know, Volkswagen Up, Volkswagen Corrado, Plymouth GTX, Lotus Europa 47 Twin Cup, Mazda Eunice Roadster, Chrysler Laser, Chevrolet Impala. You get the gist of it. Some very, very good cars, and you have them all. Now, moving on to rare, I would say a very interesting sight is the 2-star Fiat Campagnola. I don't own this, so I don't actually know what is the tune on this. I'm guessing maybe 993. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Fiat Campagnola. I know it's a bit of a sleeper, but do you only use it for drags? Is that why you've only 996 it? It'll be interesting to know why it's only 2 stars. Next is, max out that Caterham 7160. The Caterham 7160 is such a great car, super light, standard, good handling for the slaloms. Now, moving on, I would say max the Grande Punto. Very good for clubs, definitely recommend that. And just focus on your low RQ off-roaders as well. Some cars I would recommend would be the Dodge Lil Ram Express RQ12 all-surface tire, rear-wheel drive, Dodge Dart medium ground clearance, standard, good handling. I think it's like 84, and finally the Dodge Ram first generation RQ13. So those are some rares I would recommend you to look out for. Anyway, moving on, your RQ14, just like your RQ10, is set. Your super rares, I would say max the RQ16 A-Bar 124 Spider. We will see that in a bit, as well as get, you know, quite a bit of cars here that I did recommend. There's the 164 Spider, by the way. Here are the cars I recommended you get: the Cadillac ELR RQ17, the Renault Europa Cup RQ17, Opel GT RQ16, Buick Regal Turbo RQ17, and the Mitsubishi Outlander. I think you have this, and I told you to max it, and then also max out your Lotus Sprint, both RQ18s. There's the Lotus Elise Sprint. I would recommend 969. Much like the Opel GT, I would say get two 969, 699, the second one, for the same reasons as the Opel GT, and finally that Mitsubishi that we already missed, or that we already went by. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to open this pamphlet now. When it comes to ultra rares, I want to actually go back because we missed about a car I wanted to talk about. Right here, the Maserati Shamal. You actually maxed out the Maserati Shamal, a madman. I remember someone, I think it was like Mark H. He commented telling me that he also had a maxed out Maserati Shamal. It was 4386. It wasn't bad. He said, you know, in my opinion, when it comes to a new update, new big Top Drives update, well, basically every Top Drives update is big, isn't it? There's always like this like Joker RQ19 Ultra that always seems to like have stats that hits below its weight. You know, when it came to German Renaissance, it was literally every RQ19 BMW. Italian Renaissance, you know, Maserati Shimano was one of those jokes. But one car that I think is more of a joke is the Maserati Ghibli, the blue one. And then obviously what is it? Great Exhibition is that Aston Martin Zagato. Not very good. I will still max it out though, just because I like Aston Martin. So, you know, if you love your Maseratis, that's probably why. Now, I know you love your Mercedes Benzes, top drives, pack opening. So I would recommend that AMG SL73 996. It hits about 3.60 to 60 because I have it maxed out. I use it pretty often. It's kind of like the German Miura, you know, if you want to use it for the quarter miles and stuff like that. You could probably use it for a half mile as well. What else I got? Well, in terms of max outs for your ultra rares, for cars for you to focus on, Renault Sport Megane 275, Lotus 340R. Obviously, you're going to show the Camaro SS convertible over there. The Tamora, max that out, 332. I mean, you are blessed to own a TVR Tamora. I've been looking for one for ages, as well as the Maloo, the Vauxhall Maloo. I don't know much about the Maloo. I mean, I have it maxed out 996, but I don't know if that's the first car you want to max out 996. You might want a 699 or 969. I actually don't know if 969 or 699 is better on the Maloo. But then, you know, like I said, mine is 996. So, yeah, no, I'm kind of like an outlier in that conversation. Anyway, moving on to Epic, some cars for you to get rid of: the Ghibli SQ4, TVR T350, Camaro SS, and the XJR 575 RQ25. Because that car's gonna get nerfed, dude. 3.90 to 60 on that Jaguar. That's fake. No, even they get their statistic right. Hutch gets their statistics from Evo, right? Evo magazine. And if you search up XJR 575 on Evo magazine, it says that the car goes 0 to 60 in like 4.2 seconds, 4.3, something like that. So I don't know where they got 3.9 from, but definitely that car's gonna get a 0 to 60 nerf eventually. Why I know this is because I used to have one. I like the car, to be honest. I think it's a beautiful looking car, and I really wanted to max it out actually for the Jaguar finals. But then I saw 3.9 and I was like, this is not right. That's the same 0 to 60 as an Aston Martin CC100. Like, that's just not right. And it turns out it isn't. So it's probably going to get nerfed eventually. Anyway, moving on in terms of, max outs. We totally forgot to talk about the cool and interesting features of your Epic Garage. I want to talk about that Corvette Z06 3894. You don't see a lot of those maxed out. Very nice to see. As well as those two RQ24 Mercedes Benzes, which you also don't see a lot. The AMG C63 3689 and medium, I do believe. And the MLG CLK63 Black Series 3493. I think that one is indeed low. You don't see a lot of those, but I do know that you are a fan of Mercedes-Benz, so I do love the patriotism in that. Now moving on, I would say in terms of your epics for you to max out, you're just gonna max out that Cadillac CT6 since you don't have the I-Pace, or I could say don't max the CT6, wait for getting an I-Pace, and then max the I-Pace, and then finally that Evo 8 price car. You gotta max that Evo 8 price car, and it's pretty obvious to see why you have it. I mean, the Mercedes AMG SLS Black Series, you have that max. I mean, that's what I love to see. That is what I love to see. Max out what you love, man. 2999206, it looks alright. You know, Hollywood is 28102, I think. But yeah, some very nice cars. Hollywood is also like 178 top speed. That's 206. And I'm sure being a Mercedes, that probably has amazing MRA as well. So very, very nice to see that. I'm sure you know what legendaries you want to max out. Very nice to see the McLaren F1 GT as well. 2797. And then yeah, there you go. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8 FQ400 definitely maxed it out eventually. And since when did you get a Chiron? I don't remember you telling me that you got a Chiron, but that's nice to see. Anyway, let's jump into the school. Oh, for top drives pack opening, we start off with uniqueness. It's a very clean garage, very, decent garage. It's not like super, well, actually there is some uniqueness to it, like the Max Mercedeses and all that stuff. So for that, I'll give you the same score of 7. Moving on to patriotism. Now, definitely, I can tell you love your Mercedes, you love your Corvettes as well. I'm surprised you don't have the other Z06, the RQ26 one maxed out. Maybe that's on your list, the C6. But with that said, I'm going to give you a 9 for patriotism because, yeah, I know you love your cars over there. Now, moving on to character. What am I talking? Should I give you a 10? Should I give him a 10? I don't know, because he doesn't have all his Corvettes maxed out yet. But moving on to character, definitely has some character in this garage. It's a solid 8, which gives us a score of 16 plus 8. 24, right? I think so. Anyway, moving on to top drive scale. Once again, it's not the biggest garage, not the smallest garage. Definitely a decent size, so I'm going to give you a 7 for that. Was it bigger than the first garage? I think so. I think it was. I think it was. He had a lot more like lower rarity cars. Moving on to strength. Definitely a strong garage, a lot of max outs here and there, good variety. I'm gonna give you an 8. Moving on to versatility. Versatility, once again, you know, I see like off-roaders in every rarity. You got that Lancia Delta looking very nice. You got the Raptor and the Epics. You got the standard tire cars. Well, actually, your standard Epic range is maybe not as strong as it could be. I'll give you a 7 for that. Moving on to the lethal level, however, it is a very lethal garage. You got maxed out Legendaries here and there. You know, you got your niche. You got Mercedes down, you got Chevrolet, you know, kind of down. Some very good cars in that. Obviously, you know, the ZL11LE, and we are both hurting from that. We were in the same bracket, right? But definitely going to give you an 8 for that. Moving on to potential, definitely that is an easy 10, which gives us a total score of 15. Plus 15 is 30, plus 10 is 40, and that is a total score of 64. So there you go. Those are the 2 garages that we are reviewing for Top Drives Blossom's garage review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, if you're interested to submit your garage, there'll be a link in the description below. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you all next time. Blossom out.